Hi, and welcome to Cooking with Cuse. As always, I'm Nate.
And I'm Dara.
Now, Dara, what are we going to be making here today?
Thank you for asking, Nate. We're going to be making some Kebab Koobideh with some Persian rice and some grilled tomatoes to go along with the side.
Okay, could you tell us more about what Kebab Koobideh is?
Yeah, so it is a Persian recipe. My mom originally started making it at home. It's traditionally made on a charcoal grill, but this week, since we don't have access to all that, we're going to be doing it in the oven and kind of doing a faster spin to it.
Okay, and so anyone could do this at home?
Yeah, anybody can do it at home. It's pretty easy. Since I don't have a lot of Persian restaurants up here, it's just a quick little recipe, kind of make me feel like I'm at home, and it's pretty tasty.
Okay, great. So let's get started.
All right, so we're going to start. So the ingredients we have here, we got some tomatoes, we got some onions, some ground beef, and we'll be making some rice later. We're going to start with cutting up the onions. So I'm going to just start chopping them up right here.
And you started making this yourself? You've been making it your whole life, or?
I started making it this summer, actually. When I was up here, finally I had a kitchen I could kind of cook in myself with.
Yeah.
And I woke up one morning missing some of my mom's cooking, and I went on Google, tried to find a recipe, and just kind of took a stab at it.
You didn't ask her?
I asked her for some tips and tricks, but
she wanted to keep it a secret.
Yeah, she wanted to kind of keep her secrets to herself.
All right.
But yeah, it's super easy to make. It's not that hard. We start by chopping the onions. You don't really need to worry about how you're chopping them. Like, the shape doesn't really matter, the size. They're all gonna be processed up. It's not gonna be that bad.
Okay, we're gonna throw them in there, so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
at all.
not at all.
Okay.
So we chop them up a little bit. Just try to get them a little smaller, so it's not. I'm not the most experienced chopper. I've definitely sliced a finger off a few times doing this.
Yeah, you've sliced a couple fingers off.
Yeah, it's not been great.
Yeah.
So once you have them kind of mushed up, you're gonna put them in your food processor over here.
If you can get it open.
Yeah, if I can get it open. I love this. This is way better than the one I got at home. It's a lot larger. So yeah.
Well, don't take it.
What?
That's ours.
Yeah, I definitely won't. Yeah, I wish though.
Okay, we've got cameras. We'll know if you take it.
All right, I'll make sure I don't do that then. Or maybe after when the cameras are off, we can figure it out.
Okay, don't joke about it.
All right, so basically you just take your onions and you'll be tossing them in the food processor. We already got it a little started here, and you're gonna take a spoon, and as you kind of watch the food processor, you're gonna make sure the onions kind of get back down on the bottom.
Okay.
Make sure they're really getting ground up, and you want to keep doing this until the onions kind of look really like a mush. I use the word mush. I don't really know how else to describe it.
It's a very appetizing word.
It sounds appetizing.
You want the onions to be as mushy as possible.
Yeah, as mushy as possible. No form, no nothing. Just kind of all consistent.
Right. So let's get that going.
Yeah, you put this on and you kind of have to keep stopping, going, checking on it a little bit.
The onions are trying to escape.
Yeah, they really are not a big fan of the food processor.
Well, they don't want to get sliced up.
Yeah, but don't worry, they'll enjoy it in a sec. So yeah, you keep pushing it back down, making sure you kind of get a good bed going, making sure the blade will be able to get it. Repeat the process again.
Okay.
Yeah, they really don't want to.
They don't want to get cut. And I notice this isn't making us cry at all.
Yeah, I think the way I cut the onions, I learned a long time ago that if you kind of avoid cutting into the middle of the onion, that it doesn't really get your eyes watering. But now that you're saying it, every time I'm opening this, I'm starting to get a little sting.
Okay,
So,
I thought I was hurting your feelings.
Yeah, I'm glad you did not. But yeah, you keep patting it down.
I could have really laid into you.
Oh, please don't. I'm scared, man.
I won't. I promise I won't. I promise I won't.
So yeah,
we're gonna roast the beef, not you.
Exactly.
Right,
exactly.
okay.
All right, so we're gonna try it again. See. And I think after one more time, it should be good. I think this is the slowest. The processing and mixing of the meat and the onions is probably the most tedious part.
Okay, and then we're off to the races.
Yeah, then it's all fun and games from there.
This has not been fun. So I'm glad to hear this is gonna start getting better.
Yeah, so we keep going. As you can see, if you look in here, they're starting to mush up a little bit. They keep running away to the sides, so you just gotta pad them a little more, get it under into the blade, make sure they're interacting, and get it just a little more mushier, I guess is the word? I'm not sure.
Yeah, as mushy as possible.
As mushy as possible.
AMAP.
Throw it back on.
Okay.
All right, looks pretty mushy to me. What do you think, Nick?
That's mush.
That's mush.
That's mush, baby.
All right. So our next step is we're gonna take this kind of onion mush And there's still a bunch of water in these onions, so we got to strain it a little bit.
Okay, we got to separate the water in the onion.
Yeah, so I'm bringing this over here.
Okay.
So we got our little strainer.
Yep.
We got our little cup right here. Oh,
Uh-huh.
these onions are starting to make me tear up a little bit.
Okay.
And you're gonna take the onions.
Oh, I'm
and
feeling that too.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Thank you for
Let's
that.
get that out of here.
And you're gonna scoop them, put them in the strainer.
We're all done with this?
No, we will be using the processor
Okay.
again shortly.
Now, you said your mom made this for you a lot growing up.
Yes.
Did she make any other Persian recipes you
Oh
really miss
yeah,
around here?
I think my mom and my grandma are by far some of the greatest Persian chefs I have ever met in my entire life. Persian food has always been like a thing that we usually do on Sundays. It's like kind of like a comfort food, or anytime I go home, like it's the easiest thing to make, and it kind of feels like home. Koobideh is like the easiest kind of thing that my mom has made. Oh, and as I'm doing this, I'm gonna be stirring this mush.
I was gonna say it's a really beautiful story, and it's it's absolutely making me tear up.
So my mom was really, bless her heart, always cooking for us on Sundays. It was a big tradition trying to get our family together, sit down. And since I've been up here, like those Sundays, I've been sitting here and just kind of missing these recipes. So Koobideh was the first one I've started making. I started learning another recipe called tachin, which is like a rice chicken casserole dish
that
type.
sounds great. Depending on how you do today, maybe we'll have you
Yeah,
back.
hopefully, if you guys
we
like
haven't
this.
tasted it yet, so we don't know if we want you back.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be good. But I love Persian food. I think it's a very niche cuisine.
Yeah, what would you say makes it different from maybe other Middle Eastern food that people have had?
Yeah,
or
I think honestly, like when a lot of people think when they think Middle Eastern food, they think like shawarma or they think like falafel stuff like that. But what I kind of like about this Iranian food is that it's similar. It's had the similar styles, but it's so simple and it's so filling. Like I promise you, especially because of these onions, after this you're gonna feel very, very sleepy. And you'll be able to take a good nap, which is also why it's
good. That's perfect for a Sunday.
Yeah, it's a perfect Sunday dish. You
don't want to make this if you have a lot of work to do.
No. There's been plenty of times I've made this on like a school night or something I have to do after, and I've been very sleepy after.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you can see, we're kind of just mashing the mush into the strainer.
And I can see the water dropping in below.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's good. We will need to save that water for later.
Oh.
Yes. We reuse everything around here.
We're using every part of the onion.
Oh yes. Except the skin. The skin is
so we're using two parts of the onion. The onion and the water.
Yes.
But that's more than we usually use of onions.
Yeah. Or we usually don't separate it, so it's an interesting.
Okay, so I'm dead wrong.
But yeah, just keep playing around with it. I found out if you keep just smashing with the spoon, it helps get the process going a little faster.
Yep.
But then you can leave it there. We're gonna take our trusty little food processor.
Okay, don't forget the knife.
Oh, thank you.
Or the blade. The tornado.
Yeah, and it's okay if you still have some onion remnants in there because we're gonna still.
It's all going the same way.
Yeah, it's all going the same way. You got as much of the water as you could out of it.
Right. We're only human.
Yeah, we only are human. It's okay. Also, this recipe is made for kids like me who just want to get a feel of the food, not like a whole gourmet experience.
Right.
It's a great thing to make in your apartment or anywhere with an oven or an air fryer.
Or a charcoal grill.
Or a charcoal grill if you can get one.
I have one of those inside my apartment.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I've been waiting for the new model to come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're going to take this ground beef and you're going to put it into your food processor, just lay it around. And you kind of want to layer it so you're going to do some ground beef and then you're going to put some of the mush back on it. And then we'll use some of the salt and some of the saffron.
Okay, so this is the salt.
Yes.
Here. And then the saffron, that's the red one.
Yeah, the red one. And it's been ground up a little bit and mixed in with a little water to kind of bring out, it will kind of give you like a yellowish color. You'll see it will make this a little lighter.
Okay, cool.
My parents have always told me, because saffron is a very, very expensive spice, that a little goes a long way.
Sure.
But it's delicious. And it's also the key to most Persian meals. Like the saffron is what makes it. So yeah, we got this mush here. We're gonna layer it back into our food processor.
Yep. Okay, and so we're gonna get this going again?
Yeah, we're gonna get it going again. Get all the stuff in here.
And did you say we're throwing the salt and the saffron in now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So salt.
Okay.
You got it. Okay.
Okay, and I feel like I'm contributing.
You're doing great. You're doing great. Just
Thank
a little bit.
you.
Just a little bit.
Oh, okay, not the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah, not the whole.
Okay,
little bit.
little goes a long way. Little goes a
I
long
mean, you can
way.
put a little more though. You can put a little more.
I don't want to,
Alright.
blow your saffron.
No, you got it. You got it. You got it. We got plenty to go. So we'll put a little more, just dab one. And if you can see, it turns the onion kind of like orange.
Oh yeah, that's
yellowish.
cool. Yeah, it's becoming like an art project.
Yeah,
in
it's
here.
the saffron, and that's what it does. Interacting with the water, the red. I don't really understand the chemical process.
We're not
behind it,
scientists.
but I just always know it turns a little yellow, and if you see that saffron yellow, you know the meal is gonna be good.
That's a good slogan.
I think because this processor is a lot larger than the one I have at home, I might take this. You're right. I might gotta find it.
No, that's not funny.
We're just gonna throw the entire pack in there.
Okay.
Make sure everything's layered. Get as much as the onion. Make sure you save this little onion water that we got going here.
Right. Don't throw that out, and
Yeah.
don't down it like a shot.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I would.
And I would never do that either.
All right, so we're gonna cover this back up, and remember that it's gonna kind of do the same thing. Like, want to escape from the blade? We're gonna have to kind of interact and
God,
play
it's
with it.
really you versus the meal.
As you can see, it's kind of rolling around.
It was almost like it was alive.
Yeah,
It was really scary to
It's
look at.
once you're doing that, you can see, and you want to get the onions and the ground beef kind of
Yeah.
really mixing together,
Yeah.
interacting a little
It's
more.
a shade of pink that I don't know that I've ever quite
Yeah.
seen before.
And that's the saffron and the onions kind of mixing in with the ground beef. It needs to be a little we want to make sure the texture of this ground beef is fluffy, because that's what
Fluffy beef.
fluffy beef, and that's what makes the kebab so good. It's that
Fluffy beef.
texture that when you bite into, it's gonna be super juicy. It's gonna
Yeah.
be super savory. It's gonna be delicious. So
Like
yeah,
the beef. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just so hung up on fluffy beef.
fluffy beef. That's the best way to think about it. It's like, so patting it back down.
Sometimes people call me fluffy beef.
I've loved to meet the people that have come up with that name for you. So we're gonna cover this again, get it going. Checking in on this beef here.
Yep.
It's starting. Okay. It's starting to mush together a little more.
It looks like. I almost don't want to say, but it looks like cotton candy.
It does. It will not taste like cotton candy. Do not eat this for those at home.
Yeah. Really don't eat it.
Yeah, not yet at least.
It looks so delicious. I want to so badly.
But
it is raw beef.
It's surprising. Yeah. Have you seen any other recipes where people are kind of
Fluffing beef?
Yeah, fluffing
no,
beef,
I'm
no?
happy to say this is a first for me. Yeah.
I'm glad that I could be the first to show you about fluffing beef. We'll throw it one more time.
Okay, so what's next?
All right, so now we got this beef all nice and fluffy. I'm gonna get my gloves off here because they're covered in ground beef, and we're gonna get some of this rice going.
Okay, my gloves are clean.
All right, that's good. That's great.
Just bragging.
So, lucky you. Actually, I should grab some new gloves. So this rice recipe, this one actually came from my dad, and it originates from his days in college.
Wow.
So my dad moved here from Iran when he was going to college, and he was also like me coming up here, feeling some homesick, missing his mom's cooking, and he told me his mom taught him how to make a quick set of rice in a pot, so he could always kind of have that nice little Persian rice feel.
Great.
And he then taught me over, and I've been practicing it as much as I can, and it's really complemented this kebab really well. So
Okay, great. So it's really your mom and your dad coming together.
it's a whole family thing coming
So
together.
in a way, this meal is like you.
Yeah, a little bit. That's nice. I
think that's nice.
I like that. So
Yeah.
as you see, you have the rice right here.
Okay.
These gloves are very difficult to get on.
I've noticed you're having some trouble.
Yeah. So you have the rice right here. It's nice
Yeah.
and washed already. So typically when you get the rice, you want to make sure you wash it and take, as my dad says, take out all the white. So all the starch, all the stuff in the
Okay.
in the water, like make sure it goes
Take
away.
out all the white.
Take out all the white, yes. But in terms of rice, in terms of the water, it's okay.
Right, okay. Just in
Um,
terms of rice.
Just in terms of rice.
Okay.
But yeah, so you're gonna wash it and you're gonna have it all set up here, nice and neat.
Okay.
And you're gonna place it into this pot right here.
Okay.
I'll let you do
So
that.
should I go ahead and do that?
Go ahead and do that.
Okay.
And then we were talking about measurements a little earlier, Nate. You're gonna experience one of the strangest forms of measurement that any Iranian will understand clearly.
Okay, I'm excited to find out what the heck that means.
So when filling up the pot with water,
Yeah.
my grandma, my mom, my dad, everyone has always told me you need to fill it up to this line on your pinky.
Okay. The second line.
The second line on your pinky right here.
Yep.
So you're gonna stick it into the rice.
Okay.
Fill the water up. So let's get the water over here.
Okay.
So we're gonna set it onto this little onto the stove.
Okay, and should I cover it again?
No, we're gonna keep it uncovered and starting to boil.
Okay.
Get that going. Oh, okay, we got it. We got it. A little trial and error. So we got the rice going. We're gonna put a little bit of salt in there.
Okay.
Help with the boiling. And you're gonna let that sit until the rice begins to start boiling and the water is fully disappeared from our site. The thing that makes the Persian rice a little different than our traditional white rice, sticky rice, anything like that, is that we Iranians love to cook it and burn the edges slightly on the around and on the bottom, and we call that tadik.
So I've been making Iranian rice by accident my whole life.
I guess so.
That's a huge rebrand for me.
It's funny because everybody, when they see our rice, they look and they're like, why is it burnt? Why is it that? And secretly, that's the best part.
It's the crispy part.
It's the crispy part.
Yeah.
So
that sounds great.
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can get the rice, get a nice crisp going to it, and as we wait for the water to boil, we can. Did you wash this? Oh, you did. Perfect.
I washed it out.
All right, we can go back to our fluffy beef.
I was hoping you would say that.
Yeah, I know you've been waiting to do this. Nate, I'm gonna send you into the fun part with this, so get ready.
You're gonna send me right on in.
Right
okay,
on
great.
in. So we're gonna take this. We're gonna take our food processor.
Yep.
Open it up. And
look at that fluffy beef.
get as much as the fluffy beef off the blade. Do you want to grab this?
Yeah, I don't want to cut myself.
Nah, it's
okay.
all right.
I'm just getting as much of the fluffy beef.
Get as much of the fluffy beef right off that blade.
This is one of the most confusing textures I've ever encountered.
Yeah, how does it feel?
Feels great.
Feels great?
Feels really good.
That's good. That's
okay.
Good. So yeah, and then once you get as much off the blade as you can, we'll put the rest in there. And everybody kind of makes their kebab a little differently. My mom personally isn't a huge onions person, so she has a lot less onions in hers. I know I've seen people not mash up and mush their onions as much, but the most important thing is getting these onions kind of mixed in with the meat, because that's what makes the recipe and the meal so delicious. So we're getting as much of that fluffy beef as we can right out.
Great. All right, and I'll switch my gloves now.
Yeah, all right.
Since
actually, you will be touching this right now. So
okay.
So
let me put me in, coach.
All right. So you remember that onion water that we had earlier?
Boy, do I.
All right. So this is a little. You will be like dipping your fingertips into.
There's a lot of finger dipping.
There's a lot of finger dipping.
It's a very finger-forward recipe.
It's a very hands-on recipe. So you're gonna be dipping your fingers in there and kneading this beef, kind of getting the water to interact with all of it.
Okay. So my fingers are absolutely slick with onion water.
Yeah. And if you need a little help, we can also just take a little bit of it.
Okay.
And just
then
pour
I'm kneading it like it's bread almost.
Yeah. Pour a little bit on top and just start.
Okay.
Start kneading it a little.
Oh my god.
How's it feel?
It feels absolutely insane. Whoa, that is awesome.
Yeah, no.
I recommend making this recipe and stopping here. If you don't have time to do the rest, I mean, obviously do the rest, but at least get here.
Honestly,
so that you can experience this. It's
I told you it was gonna be fun. I told you.
It's like Play-Doh or something. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then going back in, you can keep dipping your hands or pouring some of the water on top. I know we don't have as much.
Because my hands are starting to get a little bit sticky, so that's what the water's for.
Yeah,
I see.
and you're trying to and that's actually good. As you saw earlier, the ground beef was sticking so much to our gloves, but because you have the onion water, it's not sticking as much.
Right.
And it's like mixing back into the ground beef.
Okay.
Right,
and you're still getting the flavor of the onion. It's not just straight water. Okay. I noticed the rice has started to boil.
Yeah, the rice is starting to boil a bit. We need to keep having it boil until all the water evaporates into the rice.
Great.
And then we got some butter that we will be adding in. And the butter is the key to making that tadik, that crispy bottom and edges around it.
Now I can believe that's butter.
Yeah, that is butter. Yeah. That is butter.
Okay, so this is nice and fluffy. I've kneaded it, dare I say, to perfection.
That is some fluffy beef right there, and it looks beautiful.
Thank you.
So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna put this now in the fridge to marinate for 2 to 4 hours, kind of get those onions and beef interacting. And our rice here is looking just about ready to hit our next step. So
I'm just gonna show off what it looks like once it's been cold, so it completely changes from that delicious cotton candy color.
Yeah, and also it all depends on the ratios of saffron and onion and stuff like that.
I see. Okay. So are we good to have this out for now?
Yeah, we are. So I'm cutting little pieces of butter. Once again, measurements in Persian cooking, not as exact as you'd want it, but that's the beauty of the recipe. So we take 5 sticks of butter,
Not 5 sticks of butter.
Or 5 pieces of butter cut
from
up
one stick.
From one stick, and we're not even using the entire stick, so it's okay. And what we're gonna be doing is that we're gonna be placing them kind of like in the different corners of the rice.
Okay.
And as you see, the water is kind of like evaporated away.
It's a very aesthetically pleasing recipe.
Yeah, it really is. Nate, you want to grab a little piece?
I would absolutely love to. Thank you, Dara. And I'm putting that in another corner.
Yeah, in another corner.
Oh.
That's all right. Just
Clearly,
let it sit.
I'm
Just let it sit right
not
there.
a pro. We've got 2 more
Yeah,
here.
we got 2 more.
And then...
So...
Okay.
1 in the corner right here. And then 1 right in the middle.
In the middle.
And then what we will do is we'll take this paper towel. And you kind of want to fold it a few times.
Okay.
Get it nice and square-like.
Where are you going with this?
This will be going right on top of our pot, in between the rice and the lid.
Okay.
So
and what does that do?
It's going to be catching the moisture and kind of absorbing it.
There are techniques involved in this recipe that I've never encountered.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
I mean, a lot of these things that I've been learning are straight from observing my mom.
Right, right.
And then you're going to turn it down to the second lowest setting.
Okay.
And we're going to let this go for 40 minutes, and we're going to check on it in 20 minutes, see how the temperature's going.
Okay, great.
Before we do our fluffy beef, let's get our tomatoes going.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get
I
our
was
tomatoes.
wondering what these big boys
The
were doing.
The tomatoes, honestly, there's not much preparation to them. They're very simple to prepare. Do you want to take lead on some cutting on this one, Nate, or?
I would love nothing more.
Okay, so you're gonna be slicing up some tomatoes here.
Okay.
And you're gonna be cutting. So yeah, cut the top off just like that.
Yep.
And then you'll be cutting it into like you see how they have their own formations, like
Yep.
triangles.
So I'm making the triangles.
Yeah. You can cut it in half and then cut it in like Perfect. Yes. Oh, look at these techniques right here.
Yeah, well, you learn a thing or two. Okay.
All right. I'm gonna set those right on the tray right here.
Okay, how, like this?
Yeah, just arrange them however you'd like.
Okay. Oh, slippery
Nice
tomatoes.
catch, man.
Thank you.
And we'll put those away for now.
Okay.
And then now, we'll set these right here. And now we'll use our fluffy beef.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the way I kind of want to, oh, thank you for that. The way the shaping formation would go for these, it's in between a tennis ball and like an oval, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like,
I think so, but I think you're gonna have to show me.
Yeah, I'm getting my second glove on. These gloves are really failing on me today. I'm sorry.
We're going through gloves like nobody's business.
I know. It's all right. The fluffy beef will take care of it. All right, so now that we've got these tomatoes nice and cut, thank you again for that, Nate.
You are so welcome, Dara.
We are going to take our fluffy mixture. Ooh, this is nice and chilly. It's been marinating. Mm-hmm. And the way you're kind of rolling it all depends, again, like how many people you're cooking this for.
Right.
How much meat you're using, how much onion you're using.
Yeah.
But you kind of want to like toss it back and forth if you want to grab some.
Yeah, let me get in there.
We can have a little fun here.
Ice cold.
Ice cold.
Adds to the texture. From
So yeah, if you want to grab a little more.
A little bit more.
So it's kind of, and I learned these techniques from my grandma.
It really feels like dough, and we were kneading it earlier, and now it almost looks like dough.
Yeah, it does. And so you kind of just play around, roll it into a ball, make sure, you can have a little fun with it. Ooh. Have a little fun with it. And then once you kind of get it into like a consistent, like there's not many cracks in it and stuff like that, you just slightly roll it out a little bit. Like
to make it just a little more oval than a tennis ball.
Yeah, a little more oval. And your sizes all depend on how much meat you're having, how many you want to make. This recipe, like, I've been able to do like from 4 to 6, something like that. And so you're going to put them right there on the parchment paper. Grab some more.
Yeah, let me get in there.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll do 4 solid pieces with this.
4 solid balls.
4 solid balls. 2 for each of us. It'll be very fun.
2 balls?
2 balls each. 2 balls, 3 tomatoes each. I think that's a good meal.
That's a good meal.
That's a good serving. That's a personal serving. Keep rolling it. What do you think about this?
This is the most fun part so far.
I told you, this recipe gets a lot more fun after you process the onions.
You weren't kidding.
Yeah.
That was a total snooze fest.
Exactly. Yeah, especially these onions weren't interacting as well. So yeah, you got your little ball. They do feel like dough.
It really does.
It's surprising to remember that these are ground beef.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah,
it's really hard to get through my brain that this is ground beef. It's gone through so many different forms. Barely recognizable.
All right.
Okay, and then I'll make it into my little oval.
And you'll plop it right there.
Okay.
And then I typically like to take some butter and just brush a little bit of it.
Melted butter. Then.
Melted butter.
Yep. And just brush it along.
Yeah, just brush a little bit. Make sure it has some butter onto it.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit on the sides because we'll be rolling them around.
Okay, good to know. That's a good tip.
And yeah, we will be placing these in the oven. Oh wait,
Are we seasoning the tomatoes at all?
I completely forgot. Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Nice catch. So we'll take a little bit, and again, the tomatoes are more. They go and they cook with the kebab, and they go with the rice. They're not super hard to make. Like I haven't found a perfect recipe, but usually when we cook these tomatoes on the charcoal grill, they're grilled on the skewers with the kebabs, so they kind of like are interacting the same. Sure. This way, we're just put them in the oven. They'll cook a little bit, and they'll be really good to mush down and eat with the rice.
Okay, so we're gonna put this in the oven now.
Looking good. You got your tomatoes, your fluffy kebabs.
And what temp and for how long, Dara?
We'll be putting it in for about for 400 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes, or until you see a nice char in the tomatoes and some the meat looks all nice and cooked.
And in the meantime, let's talk rice.
All right, so let's talk rice. So the rice has been going. I believe it's been going for about like 5 to 10 minutes now. It is a slow process, I will say. But you can see, actually, if you come a little close, you can smell the butter and the rice kind of coming together a little bit.
It sounds like this has a little ways to go in the oven too. So why don't we just check back here in a little bit?
All right, yeah, I like that. Sounds good.
Okay, it's been 20 minutes. You said you wanted to check in on the rice. Now, what the heck does that mean?
All right, Nate. So it's a little, again, untraditional, as most of our methods have been. But the best way my dad has taught me how to do this is you take your finger once again.
Once again.
You turn on some water.
Is it the same finger?
Honestly, it could be whichever one you'd like.
Okay.
Wet your fingers a little bit, and this will be a little scary, but we're going to hit the side of the pot with our wet fingers. So let's get ready.
Okay, and we heard a telltale sizzle.
Yeah, so you heard a little hiss and a little sizzle, and you see the water is completely evaporated.
Yep.
So our pot is the temperature we are desiring, and we're on track to get that nice golden tahdig that we're hoping for.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yes.
We'll be back in another 20. Okay, so the rice is done, and you can see that amazing golden brown on top. Dara, what did you call that again?
That's called tahdig, Nick.
Okay, I can't. Nate.
Oh my God.
My name is Nate.
Can I redo that?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. And I can't wait to break into that. And the oven's done cooking as well.
Yes, it is. Let's check on our kebab right here.
If you could open for me.
Of course.
Okay, amazing. It looks so good.
Oof, look at those tomatoes.
And it smells amazing.
That's that nice onion saffron mixture all coming together with that fluffy beef. Look at that.
Great, I can't wait to eat. Okay,
right.
And how are you gonna serve this?
All right, so as you can see, our rice kind of looks like a cake, so let's treat it like a cake. We got our nice little server here.
Is it cake, Dara?
I wish it was. So we're gonna break right into the. Ooh, you can see the nice crisp of the tahdig. We did it right. And you're just gonna get a nice, good old chunk.
Okay, yeah. Give me a nice big chunk.
Yes.
Thank
Put it
you.
right
there.
And then you'll be grabbing some. We got some nice tongs here. So make sure. Honestly, it'd be good to kind of flip it, get some stuff on top.
Look at that. Yep.
And then mix in a tomato. And the tomatoes are really good. Would you like 1 or 2 tomatoes?
2, please.
All right. And the tomatoes, because they're cooked, they're really good to mash up and eat with your rice. Other ways to eat this rice that Iranians typically do, we usually either mix it with some butter, or some people like to take a raw egg and cook it in their rice. But I am not a huge fan of that, and we don't have any eggs today, so I'm grabbing some of mine. A little messy here, my bad.
No problem. We don't care about messy, we just care about it tasting dang good.
Oh, and it will.
Okay, I cannot wait to dig in.
All right, so let's dig in. Kind of use your spoon and fork to break all this up.
Okay. Oh, I'm making a huge mess.
That's part of the fun.
That's part of the fun. And thank you so much for making this for us. I'm trying to get all of it on one
Yeah,
floor.
I'm trying to also do all that. Usually I try to get the spoon, like kind of load it all up, as you see right here.
Yep. Oh, I'm having so much trouble, but this is my first time.
You got it. No, it's so good. I've got years of experience.
That's right.
This.
Okay. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my God.
That's delicious.
And I love the crunch of the tahdig. Thank you so much for making this with us.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for Cooking with Cuse. Have a good one.